The restaurant was loud that Friday night, clinking glasses, sizzling grills, laughter echoing through the air. No one noticed the terrified eyes of the young waitress as her manager's hand gripped her wrist a little too tightly, but at the corner booth, a man in a black hoodie stopped chewing his burger. His military instincts kicked in. He knew that look because once, in another life, he'd seen it too many times, and when that bathroom door slammed shut behind her, he stood up, silent, cold, ready. What happened next made the entire restaurant fall silent, and by the end of the night, everyone knew exactly who her husband was. The waitress who smiled through pain. Emily Carter wasn't new to hard days. She worked double shifts at Samson's Grill, a small-town diner famous for its ribs and cheap coffee. Her co-workers adored her, always smiling, always saying "I'm fine," even when the world on her shoulders felt too heavy. Her husband, Jake Carter, was home from deployment, a Navy SEAL who had seen the worst of humanity but still held a soft spot for his wife. He'd told her he'd come for dinner that night, nothing fancy, just you, me, and fries like old times. But Emily didn't expect him early. Her manager, Rick, was the kind of man who smiled too much for the wrong reasons. He complimented her more than he should, brushed against her accidentally, and reminded her that he could make or break her hours. She tolerated it because she needed the job that night. As she took orders and delivered plates, Rick cornered her near the counter. "Stay after your shift," he murmured. "We need to discuss your schedule privately." She forced a polite smile. "Can we just do it here?" Rick's grin darkened. "No. Bathroom's quieter." Her heart thudded, panic rising. "Rick, please," he grabbed her wrist. "Don't make a scene." He yanked her toward the back hallway across the room. A man in a hoodie looked up from his plate. Jake. He wasn't supposed to arrive for another half hour, but he'd missed her. He saw the grip. The fear. The tremble in her hands. He froze, eyes narrowing. His instincts screamed, "Something's wrong." Rick shoved Emily into the back hallway, whispering, "You want extra hours, don't you?" She whispered, trembling, "Please don't." The sound of the bathroom door slamming echoed through the hall. Jake stood up. His chair scraped against the floor, the sound slicing through the laughter and music like a blade. The waitress behind the counter blinked in confusion. "Sir, is something wrong?" He didn't answer. He was already walking, silent steps, measured breaths. His hands clenched, but his face calm, the way it always was before a storm. Inside the bathroom, Emily was pressed against the sink, tears gathering. Rick leaned closer. "You're too pretty to be scrubbing tables. I could make your life easy." And then a knock. Rick froze. The voice on the other side was calm, deep, dangerously calm. Emily's eyes widened. "Jake?" The door flew open, not kicked, ripped off the latch. Rick stumbled back as Jake stepped in, ice cold as steel, his entire body radiating silent fury. "Get your hands off my wife." Rick stammered, "W wife?" "I didn't." Jake grabbed him by the collar, slammed him against the wall so hard the mirror cracked. "You think no one's watching? You think you can scare her?" His voice was low, deadly. "Try that again, and I'll make sure you never lift your hands again." Emily, shaking, whispered, "Jake, stop." He froze, looked at her, then at the trembling man in his grip. Slowly, he let go. Rick slid down to the floor, gasping. Jake knelt beside Emily, cupped her face gently. "You okay, sweetheart?" She nodded through tears. "I didn't think anyone. I'll always come for you." They walked out together, hand in hand. But the night wasn't over. The diner was buzzing, not with breakfast orders, but with whispers. "Did you hear what happened? They say a Navy SEAL broke the bathroom door." Rick's suspended, the owner's furious. Emily came to pick up her last paycheck. She'd already decided to quit. But when she walked in, everyone clapped quietly. One of the cooks said, "You didn't deserve that, Emily. You were brave." Rick wasn't there. The owner had already fired him after watching the security footage, and the police were investigating. Jake waited outside in their old pickup, arms crossed, expression softening when she appeared. She climbed in, still trembling a little. "I didn't know what to do, Jake. I just froze." He squeezed her hand. "You don't have to be strong all the time. That's why you've got me." Tears welled in her eyes. "I thought I was helpless, but you reminded me I'm not alone." Jake smiled faintly. "You're never alone, Em. Not while I'm breathing." Later that evening, as the sun dipped below the hills, Jake took her to the ocean, the same beach where they first met before he deployed. The waves crashed gently, and she leaned against his shoulder. "Do you ever get tired of saving people?" she asked softly. He chuckled. "Only when the one I love forgets how strong she really is." Emily smiled through tears. "You didn't just save me tonight, Jake. You reminded me who I am." He kissed her forehead. "You've always been tougher than you think." The wind blew through her hair as they watched the sunset, two souls bruised but healing, stronger together than ever before. And somewhere, deep inside, Emily realized, you don't need to fight alone to be brave. Sometimes bravery is just having someone who refuses to let you fall.